And thanks so much for the level of collaboration and cooperation that continue to exist between the Liberian media and that of the Liberia National Police. It's also a good thing to be here and talking to you since my arrival from the United States of America, specifically Charlotte, when we visited the Charlotte Police Department in a lesson learning study tour, that we've come back to enhance communication at the level of the Liberia National Police. And so it is a pleasure to be back home and contributing toward the development of my country, Liberia. Having said that, like you listened to the Chief of Media Relations, we've called you here to provide you update on the incident that occurred at the Cali Hospital, and you may say the Cali Junction yesterday by some Liberians. The Liberia National Police denounces violent actions on the parts of some Liberian citizens who converged at the Cali Junction in demand of justice for Jestina Taylor, a Liberian citizen who made claims of being manhandled and injected by unknown persons, sometimes last month. Jestina was driven to our Zone 8 base police station by a taxi driver after she alleged of being manhandled and injected by some unknown persons. She was immediately taken to the ELWA hospital in Peaceville by officers of the Liberia National Police and was later transferred to the SOS hospital. Authorities of the SOS hospital also referred her to the Cali hospital, where she was taken by officers of the Liberia National Police. Based on the sensitive nature of Madam Taylor's allegations on her life and her person, LMP officers were immediately assigned outside of the hospital room of Madam Taylor to ensure that her life was not prematurely taken by anyone. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is also important to note that Madam Taylor, while at the Catholic Junction, while at the Cali Hospital, committed to providing a written account of her claims upon being discharged by the hospital authority. Unfortunately, on the day of Jestina's release yesterday from the Cali Hospital, talk show host Henry Costa began raising false alarm on his Roots FM platform that Madam Taylor had been placed under arrest by the LMP officers. Mr. Costa began rallying citizens to converge at the hospital to prevent the arrest of Madam Taylor, something which was false and misleading. Without authenticating the information released by Mr. Costa, some Liberians converged and blocked the Cali Hospital road and even blocked the hospital entrance, thereby preventing free movement of peaceful citizens and preventing patients from seeking medical treatment at the Cali Hospital. Other citizens' right to freedom of movement as guaranteed in Article 13 of the Liberian Constitution was hindered by these protesting Liberians. We would love to make it very clear that at no point in time was Madam Taylor placed under arrest by LMP officers. Prior to Madam Taylor release from the hospital, the Cali hospital to be very specific, LMP authorities have been in constant interactions with the human rights community through its secretary, Adama Dempster, on the way forward in ensuring that justice prevails in Jestina's case. Before leaving the hospital yesterday, the LMP thought it was expedient to obtain voluntary statement from Madam Taylor in reference to her earlier commitment to speaking to the LMP upon her discharge. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it was only unfortunate for some Liberians to have stormed the premises, preventing people from freedom to move as a result of misinformation that emanated from talk show host Henry Costa. As a result of citizens' actions, 4 of our officers sustained major injuries from stone-throwing protesters and are currently undergoing treatment at the JFK hospital. We will definitely show you some pictorial evidence for you to see the injuries on the parts of our officers. 4 protesters were arrested by responding officers and are currently being investigated. They will be duly charged and forwarded to court. Madam Taylor, in the presence of her lawyers and human rights activists, was acquainted over Miranda rights of choosing to provide us voluntary statement or not on what she knows happened to her last month. She chose not to provide a written statement until later, while the investigation continues, and her right was respected yesterday. Therefore, the LNP urges Liberians to desist from obstructing its function and respect the rule of law. All Liberians must understand that it is the overall responsibility of everyone to help the LNP in strengthening the peace and stability of the state. Meanwhile, the 4 persons arrested yesterday have been charged with aggravated assault, rioting, failure to disperse, and disorderly conduct, respectively, awaiting court trial. The LNP regrets any report of journalists being malhandled yesterday by responding officers. We see the media as an integral partner in the fight against crimes and abuse, and as such, will do nothing to sour such a relationship. In riot situations, sometimes it is difficult to tell who is a journalist or not, especially when said journalists are not fully attired in their institutional reporting paraphernalia. This administration will do all in its power to protect journalists' rights and will do nothing, absolutely nothing, to harm them in the discharge of their reportorial duties. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you. This is the response from the LNP of the incident that occurred yesterday at the Cali Hospital. We will entertain few questions if you may have. And like Anthony said, your questions should be limited to the subject under discussion. Thank you so much.
Okay, my name is Obed Jiba from Joy FM and Joy Online TV. You make mention of talk show host Henry Costa action that you said because of what he said through his broadcast, citizens blocked the road, thus infringing the rights of others. What is the police going to do about that, which is a violation of the law according to you? That's my first concern. That you have arrested those people in connection with staging the roadblock as well, and charging them, forwarding them to court. The action came from a talk show host. It's just in relation of being of the question. Are you in any way going to follow up a formal situation or arrest or whatever to Henry Costa, the talk show host. The voluntary, I don't know, comment from or statement from Jestina. What is the police intent, or how crucial is that particular statement that the police is 100% so into it to get?
Thank you so much, Obed Jiba. To the question of Mr. Costa, the Joint Security is having meetings on how to ensure that the peace and security of our country is not jeopardized by anyone who has any sinister motive. So I cannot be able to reveal to you specifically what will be the outcome of Joint Security consultations, but I can assure you that the Joint Security is meeting on such matter. On the question of why we need a statement from Madam Taylor, it is important that if one of our citizens' lives comes under threat, it is only important for us to ensure that such situation is not swept under the carpet, but that it will be investigated to its fullest. And the only way we do that is when we hear from the House's mouth. Madam Taylor, in this case, is the House's mouth. She has claimed of being manhandled and injected by some unknown persons, and it was only prudent enough for us to hear from her. And it is only prudent enough for us to hear from her as a basis to commencing the investigation. Like I said, she was acquainted of her Miranda rights as to whether she chooses to speak to us or not, and she chose to defer her statement for a little time, and her right was respected. And so we saw that there was no reason for anyone to go at the Cali hospital in demand of release her when she was not even arrested in the first place. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my name is James Flomo. I report for Spoon FM and Spoon TV. Mr. Carter, I have two concerns. One, I listened to your news conference. You did not talk anything about the police. Yesterday, I have video evidence to prove you had more than 3 of your officers who retaliated by chunking protesters, which I think may have prompted more folks from the protester chunking. And you did not address the action of the police. Why you did not talk about that? Is it professional for police officers to react to protesters by chunking racks instead of using the police force, but they were using racks? And my next question is, you claim that Jestina was not under house arrest, or she was not being placed behind, she was not anywhere that people needed nothing to go there. But before yesterday, I went at the Cardley Hospital. That was the second of this month. I went at the Cardley Hospital when we heard of Jestina Taylor going to the U.S. Embassy for an interview, and she was blocked by your men. According to Jestina, when one of the officers entered, she was told to come at the police headquarters. Why you stop her from going to the U.S. Embassy to attend her interview if you wanted just a statement from her?
Thank you so much, James. To your first question, that development is very new to us to talk about officers using stone and stoning protesters. I can assure you that we definitely will work with you, Mr. Gooden. Bring us the video evidence, like you just indicated.
I will give it right.
And we will not hesitate to take the appropriate administrative actions where necessary. Okay? To your second issue, let it be made emphatically clear that Madam Taylor is one of our citizens. Our job is to ensure the protection of lives and properties, and not to injure any of our citizens in any form or manner. Our officers did not stop Madam Taylor from going to do her interview at the U.S. Embassy. Madam Taylor was under the watch of the police. I just indicated that to you. She was under the watch of the police at the Cali hospital. Why is that so? It's because when this incident of Madam Taylor broke out, there were too many mixed, accounts. Some said Madam Taylor was killed. I know some of you media saw it on Facebook. Some said she had died. Another one said that, she was on critical list and that the government had, planned that. It was only important enough for us to ensure that our citizen is in good health, in good condition. So that she was under the watch of the police. It was only the work of the police to ensure that wherever that she was going, the police was in the know and that she was not prevented. That's why yesterday I told you the only interest of the police was, as committed by Madam Taylor, was when I am discharged, I will provide you my, statement. However, when she was leaving, apparently officers, confronted her in terms of providing her statement. She saw it as like officers blocking her, but no officer anyway would want to block, a Liberian that will be going to U.S. Embassy for some other interview that will be to her best interest. Okay? So everything that was done, or everything that is being done is done in the interest of Madam Taylor and not to harm her. She remains one of our citizens that deserve protection by this Liberian police force. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fabi.
Yeah, my name is Fabi. I'm reporting for State Radio. If I'm right, Mr. Spokesman, you haven't answered the question, and it brings me back to the Liberia National Police protecting a citizen at a Catholic private hospital. The Liberia National Police do have the handbook, and that of the nurses do have the oath that is called the Nightingale Book to protect. And so, don't you think, according to your statement, there must be complete contradiction of both your laws and that of the hospital?
Okay, it's a good question you asked, Fabi. We had a conversation recently with the Cali Hospital Administration. The administrator of the Cali Hospital came here and raised similar issue that you are raising now. And one of the things we told the administrator of the Cali Hospital is, now let's just suppose this case. Okay, we have the medical policy and then we have security policy. If one of our citizens' life comes into questioning and threat, we have to, prioritize the overall good of protecting the life of our citizens. Madam Taylor claimed that she was manhandled and injected by some unknown persons. It was imperative upon us to ensure that she was in a hospital room, that her safety was guaranteed. That's why I said to you, officers were not in the room of Madam Taylor, they were stationed outside of the room of Madam Taylor. Routinely, they went in to check to see whether she was okay, and they came outside the hospital room. And that was basically just to ensure that she's in good health, she's okay, and not for any other reason. No other reason. It was just to ensure that our citizen is in good health, and she's responding to treatment, and everything is okay. That was all. It was not for any other reason.
Okay, my name is Winston Hammer. I report for Groups FM. Question has to do with the allegation made by Madam Taylor that she was gang raped and then she was, let's say, injected by drugs. And in her interview, she said, Jestina was one of those who were behind her being tortured and then treated in that funny manner. Our question is that, why are you so particular about Madam Taylor taking her from the hospital? The question, why are you not bringing those to book, those that were accused of gang raping her?
Good question, Winston. It's one thing to raise an allegation against someone. It's another thing to prove that allegation. That's just something you need to understand. It's easier for me to sit where I'm sitting and say, Winston Hammer called me and he threatened to kill me. Maybe I go on social media and say that. If we should be doing that, we'll be witch hunting a lot of people around here, because several persons will go on Facebook and just say things and we'll be going after people, picking them and putting them in ourselves. Is that what we are interested in? I say no. We are interested in getting to the bottom of issues. What we were more concerned about, like I said to you earlier on, Mr. Harmon, is Madam Taylor had alleged of her being manhandled and injected by unknown persons. Unknown persons are persons that we ourselves don't even know. I appreciate you giving me some time. Okay? She said she was manhandled and injected by unknown persons. Whether those persons were sent by whoever, that is something that we need to establish. Okay? But the fact remains, we asked Madam Taylor committed to us of providing us a rating statement of what happened on a fateful day. So we are just going to ask her to give us the rating statement. And in doing so, we are acquainted of her right to do so or not to do so. She could have chosen to say, I am not going to do it now because I'm not still in my right frame of mind, or I will do it now. And she was not coerced to do so. But what happened is that this whole thing blew out of proportion as a result of the misinformation that was sent out to the public by talk show host Henry Costa that Madam Taylor was under arrest. If we wanted to pick up Madam Taylor from that hospital, we would have picked her up from the hospital without even citizens standing in our way. Madam Taylor was not under arrest. Okay?
The police attempted arresting her, but